Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Marlo. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
See if my computer updating actually works. People can hear me the whole meeting.
Hello.
Hello.
At the top, we have 2 days. So there's the 19th and then there's the 5th. The 19th is just 2T at Taco because they were going to present that day.
Let's wait a couple of minutes more. Feel free to add yourself already to the attendees list. Oops. Do we have someone who would like to take notes?
If no one can, I can probably do it. I just have one screen. That's why I'm
Nice.
not saying.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, I think we can get started. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's CNCF TAG Environmental Sustainability meeting. Today is the 5th of July, and this is the community meeting, which means that this meeting falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which can be summarized to be just excellent to each other. My name is Leo. I'm one of the co-chairs. Marlo and Max also joined. So we have a full house. Quickly browsing the agenda, I think today we will talk mainly about the working group proposal. But before we get to that, are there any new attendees to this meeting who would like to introduce themselves? I think they're mainly familiar faces. So if you like, you can also say hi later or hi over Slack or in next meeting. It's always welcome. All right, to the working groups, working group comms. I believe we will give an update on the working group comms next meeting. Kara has been out and is working on getting the working group started. So I think for this meeting right now, we don't have an update. I think so. So I think we can go to the next one, which is the working group proposal for green reviews or green project. Right now, the name is still open to be decided. Maybe Nikki, do you would like to say something? I can continue sharing my screen. That's fine. Would we go over the proposal?
Yeah, I think that the idea for today is to finalize this so that we can get started as soon as possible. So there's a brief few steps, like a few things that we need to wrap up today. There are a couple of important questions left in the proposal, so I guess let's just let's jump in and
so maybe first we can, I'm not sure if everybody is like aware of this proposal. I think most of us are, but anyways, like, so this text kind of already, if you read through it, gives like a very good overview and introduction what the plans are. But in essence, it's about that we, as a tag, that we want to increase the sustainability footprint of CNCF projects, that we report over time on their sustainability efforts and that they improve over time. And this working group facilitates this and creates reviews for all those projects. And since this is like very uncharted and new territory for us, and in general about creating like a sustainability footprint overview, there are like a couple of deliverables which also go in the direction of creating like guidelines, how to mature over time and so on. Right. The name is the first open, or maybe first, are there any like questions to this before we go through the open discussion items? If not, I would encourage everyone to just read through this document very briefly. If there are like any open questions, there's still time to raise them, but we would like to wrap it up soon. But yeah, all right. The first one is about the naming. So initially when this was proposed, it was working group Green Ops, but since the scope changed a lot, Green Ops does not really make sense anymore. So I think there is working group Green Reviews, Green Practices, working group ENV reviews, working group green project reviews. So maybe, does it make sense, I think, for every one of us in the call just to come up with some names in addition to these ones, and just write them in chat? So maybe we can just take like 3 minutes. Everybody from us can just write in chat maybe like some options, even if they're like just parts. So for example, I don't know, environment reviews or something. And after that, we can maybe decide on this quickly.
So far, we have 3 votes for green reviews: Marlo, me, and Antonio in the comments. 4. Anyone against it? Okay, green mark. Okay. What's the reference of the monocle?
Just because the smiley looks like curious, it's like taking a serious look at something, like questioning, like what's going on
Like-
there?
Like the emoji.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Max came up with one new idea. Green monocle. I think there are a lot of +1s for green reviews, so I would just go with this one for now. I guess that's fine, right? Yeah. I mean, we can also like have like an abbreviation, but I think green reviews, yeah, sounds good. All right, let's move on. So there are no open discussion items in the motivation, and none about the goals, and none goals. There's a couple of ones about scope. All right, let's see. Provide support to measure the sustainability footprint of CNCF projects, such as through. Right. This was the comment that this is obsolete because we already captured this point in the previous comment. Your point, it would make sense to generalize this without specifying. Right. So basically, the suggestion is that we remove this one. Yeah, are there any? Is there anybody who thinks there's like something captured in this sentence which we need to add? Otherwise, I will just remove this. Right, the next one. So the proposal is that we change, I think, just the wording, create minimal tooling to conduct CNCF project sustainability footprint reviews, for example, to automate certain processes if existing tooling does not meet requirements, and if the CNCF environment sustainability tag formally approved this. Right. So basically the idea is that we certainly need some like automation, like minimal automation to create reviews, because we don't want to do everything on our own, like manually. There's a new organization forming under the CNCF where we can create projects for these kinds of minimal toolings. And this basically just states that we are looking for minimal tooling. So we don't want to create like an entire suite of review tools or whatever. It's basically, I don't know, maybe some bash scripting or something simple. And it also says that the CNCF tag approves new projects which are about tooling, because we don't want to be in a position where we develop like new projects from the ground up. So we emphasize minimal tooling in this point. Since this is one of the points which are most relevant overall to tag strategy, we can take the opportunity to discuss this. Right. Nikki, what would you like to discuss about this? Or are there any questions? Any concerns?
I mean, we can also just leave this as is and discuss it when it comes up, when we get to that point. Because minimal tooling is a little bit unclear. I think that there is mentions of the testing infrastructure, automation, embedding things in the delivery pipeline. On the other hand, we have a non-goal around opening, features and fixing bugs. So I guess we will be building minimal tooling. I think that is clear. But it's like the line is unclear, but we can also determine that when we get to that point.
Yeah, I think we did. So in the scope, I would say we don't need to specify everything about like what we mean exactly with minimal tooling, but exactly what you say. If we get to the point, we can then also discuss in the working group, like, is this like actually something like this project, this tool, which we maybe want to develop, is this like minimal tooling? Do we want to take this on or not? So this is like just like a frame, like the scope. So should we go on? What would you say to the next one?
Yeah, we can move on.
Propose to keep scope minimal, expand later. Yeah, I would agree. Okay, I think, wait. I mean, they both kind of belong together, so I will also move to the next one. There's one comment to this section, deliverables. Not really deliverables. In my thoughts, we will have a process part that requires certain documentation, also on the CNCF project side, to describe the specification for each individually. On the other hand, a blueprint, how to implant that mechanism to measure. Max, would you like to say something? Is this resolved? Do we need to add something to the proposal?
No, maybe discussed it last time when we had a look on it. I think it was like more about one of the parts. I think the comment is just like wrongly added.
For example, the last one here, the dashboard, we have this definitely captured already.
Yeah.
And
I think this comment was attached to something else and just moved up to the headline. But we discussed about it. That's fine.
Sounds good.
I think
And
one thing
then-
that's missing is the KPIs, but we can also expand on it later. I think we just don't want to be blocked right now.
So yeah, KPIs, I would kind of move this to the, like, we have like one comment about we want to understand what we mean with sustainability footprint. So I think, like, if we understand what the sustainability footprint is, we also translate it into KPIs, I would assume, but we could add this to this, clarify the concept. It's this one, right? We could add like a sub-sentence here, maybe.
For example, and how to set KPIs according to those after identified constituent components. But again, like, I think
I would just add a comment so we can, I mean, or should we do this now? A common KPI score for projects.
I don't know if that would be like how to do that, because each project is so different. You can't really compare.
One of the KPIs would be that we, like, the common KPI score, we would use the SCI score, right? So this would be the KPI which we can use, maybe some additional ones. But I guess, I mean, we don't need to specify this maybe because we already touched it kind of with this point and also some others. There are a lot of deliverables. There's a lot here. Okay, I think we are fine because we will have KPIs translated out of the first one anyways. We don't need to say like we will also translate into KPIs because it's like a natural flow, right? So I would just leave it like this. Is this fine, or should we edit the first one?
It's okay.
Nice. All right, and then this one adds one more deliverable, which is create a roadmap for CNCF project maintainers on how they can mature their projects successively to improve their sustainability footprint. I think this is an important point because we have a lot of projects. They have, for example, also the Falco project, they want to enable also end users, but it would be good to show them we cannot enable end users if we don't, I don't know, do the calculations for ourselves first. So have like a roadmap how to improve the maturity, I think is very good, can be very valuable.
I don't think that we should be creating the roadmap for them, but like the review outcome should help the maintainers create a roadmap.
Yeah, maybe we can specify this. It's like a general roadmap. So in general, you mature through those phases, and not that we create for every project a roadmap, like an individual one. It's like more a reference guide. Yeah.
The review outcome document that is produced at the end of the review should help create a roadmap, right? So
Right. I mean, this would depend like how the review is connected. So this point is more about, okay, to create reviews. So basically how to mature over time. We will have like, I don't know, maturity phases or something like this for CNCF project, which is like a general roadmap, so not an individual one for each one. So it's a general roadmap which you can use as guidance. Probably it's like 3 pages or 2 pages, not so long, which just gives like a rough idea in which phase you may be. So I think this kind of gives like a new twist also to the working group. But I think it can be quite interesting because we already are working with creating reviews in this working group. So I think it may be like a good group to also create this document.
I don't want to block us from doing that. I think it's worthwhile.
Okay, what are others thinking about this one? So Malo already added the comment that we have quite a lot of deliverables. Maybe we can also like, I don't know, merge some of them together or make it more concise. What about the last one? Any comments?
I
I'm
think
not
it
sure
would
if
be,
we can.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Antonio.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it would be difficult to understand how to create a general roadmap if we don't know what's the output of the review document first. So it's still like we're high level on that point of view. So, and I see it as a next step after the review document is created. So I don't know, either I would say in the future, the aim is that, or to put it as a second set of deliverables as suggested, maybe, because I think it's difficult to define what this roadmap would look like if we don't know what the review would look like precisely.
Yeah. So maybe one comment to this one. So it's kind of obviously like in the maturity process, reviews would be relevant. So at some point you will start that your project is ready, that we can enable, I don't know, create reviews on it, but it's kind of loosely from the review outcome, I would guess, because for example, like one pillar in this roadmap would be, for example, that we measure, I don't know, the footprint from release to release. Another one is that you have maybe on the documentation, like a guide how end users can, I don't know, see the sustainability footprint during the runtime or something. So it's
So
it's not
I
connected.
wanted to practically say the same as Antonio. I think we cannot create a general roadmap because there would be a danger to have copy paste of different activities, which like defined also by other communities and groups like the GSF. Because what we would include is like, hey, take a look that you do not run 500 times per day a build. Okay, check. Maybe you should use better machine instance sizes instead of like over provisioning whatsoever. I understand where it come from and it would make sense. But I think roadmap is the wrong wording for it, and we could not provide it in that way because every project is different in the one another way.
Maybe
However, we should have a source for it, like where are the right points to take a look for ideas how to get better, right? Or that we have for us something like where we can follow and check mark. But overall, I think better at the moment, I think we should better exclude this sentence. We can add it maybe later if we see that we have matured as a group and that we have our experience made and that we found a common pattern which applies for every project, rather than try to do it from the beginning.
Sounds good. I think it makes sense. I think, right. Maybe we can, because we already have an issue open, I believe, in our repository about maturity. Maybe at some point we can create, maybe in half a year or a year or so, create a sub-project for the working group who works on this roadmap or action points or whatever we may call it.
Would it be possible maybe to think of having sample roadmaps rather than a general roadmap? Because is this, like, the idea of having roadmaps seems good in that it's a way to reach out to multiple different projects. Because otherwise you have to do, somebody has to get involved with every project, where if we could produce sample roadmaps that projects can read without having to engage a lot with us, then you potentially reach a lot more people and influence a lot more people. And I understand the risks of that somebody can copy and paste, but to try and influence as many people as possible, to make it easy for them to do things, to make it easy for them to know what to look at.
That's a good point, yeah. How about we...
Yeah, I would probably like to back that up as well, because I'm thinking maybe not everyone wants to explicitly go and have a dialogue to begin with to request a review of the project. Maybe we could reach wider audience who does not necessarily want to engage just yet. Maybe they want to have some kind of a sample to follow before they do anything more with direct communication with the working group.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but this sounds like a possibility for a different working group. So I see the two things then completely unrelated. So like one would be each project comes and asks for a review and we have a review process. And another one would be, so like one would be with a pull mechanism. So like we pull the project to do a request, and the other, like this other would be, right, like we push to reach the others, or am I getting wrong, like what this point is about?
No, it's more about like a general, like creating general milestones. I don't know, you mature for your project, you mature that you include sustainability in your, from release to release, that you measure it, that your end users can have like some way to observe, I don't know, like, for example, like which parameters do you need to tweak to influence, I don't know, the energy usage, for example. So this would be like one milestone, and this can be very general. So that you just know, okay, maybe I need to look into this, or this does not apply for my project, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe it's a plugin, maybe, I don't know, half of the milestones that does not apply to me. But it just gives like a overview, what you can do or what you need to research. And it's definitely a little bit different from the other deliverables. So it would make sense, I think, not like in a working group, but we could add this in like an upcoming project, for example. But it makes sense in general, I think, in this working group, because we already are working on a review process, and the review process touches kind of all of these things, right?
The review process, yeah, will identify sustainability related metrics and the different parts of this tooling and how they affect them. I imagine that once we have some metrics, we can say, hey, like, I don't know, with Flux, like the reconciliation of the customized controller is much higher in energy consumption than this other controller. So I don't know, I'm just improvising, but once we have those metrics, we'll have the areas that can be improved. So I see this point as create a general set of suggestions. It was suggestions implies that we are sure that if this happens, that there will be an improvement. And if we try to if we try to suggest changes, then I think that we need to measure those as well and make sure that what we're saying is data driven and actually correct. So I do agree with Antonio that it's kind of a whole other thing to give recommendations.
Okay, maybe because we are kind of unsure about this and we already have a lot of deliverables. And this goes in a slightly different direction, even if this is closely kind of connected. Maybe we can cut it from the document and pick it up in an upcoming project. What do you all think about that?
Yeah, I think it's looking a bit too far ahead,
Makes sense.
and already we have a lot of unknowns and issues that we need to solve.
Okay, sounds good. Then let me copy this. Remove this. And I will add a comment to the maturity GitHub issue. All right. So now we just have this one. Right, what did we say about this one? Do we want to discuss this async? Or I mean, it would be good to have like now like a version without any comments, so we can write in the Slack channel. We have, I don't know, please everyone take a look. If you have any further like questions, comments, suggestions until next week, and then we can ask for approval or hand it in.
I think we can merge this. I thought that was the consensus.
So we can replace this one, yeah.
Yeah, to accept it. Yeah. And what Christina also.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, at the end, this was also just like changing the sentence so it's more clear. All right, cool. So this is the proposal as is. Obviously, there's still time to share your thoughts.
We need to decide how often to meet the cadence. So I suggested either, for example, if we meet once a month or twice a month, we could do either the second Wednesday of the month or the second and fourth Wednesday of the month.
I think this can also be discussed as soon as the working group is approved. Maybe. I mean, I think this is like just like a minor point operation. Maybe every 2 weeks or something makes sense.
Yeah, I think anything less than twice a month would not really be enough.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get back to the topics. Right. Nikki, did you edit this one?
The bullet points? Yeah. Yeah, all of them. Okay, I can open the PR. Against our tag repo or against another, like the CNCF Foundation thing, or how do we do the review from the TOC?
So we already have the tag repo. We already have the GitHub issue open. We can just update it the naming and so on. And we can write, maybe you can write, or Christina can write a comment under the GitHub issue that we have now a version which is ready for review first for the community group, so everybody can add their thoughts. And if there are like any more questions, we can resolve those. If there are like major ones, which kind of, I don't know, for example, like one which we just resolved, which kind of goes in an entirely different direction, we may extend until 2 weeks. And after that, we can reach out to the TOC to get a formal approval. Right, and about the Falco meeting. So I think next tag meeting, Melissa from the Falco team will join our meeting, and she will talk about basically essentially what we will achieve or what we would like to achieve with the working group, that we conduct reviews. They're very interested that Falco is improving their sustainability footprint. So she will talk basically about their project, and I think this is a great discussion next time. All right. Any other questions regarding the working group proposal? All right, then we can move on to the open discussions, and there's one from Marlo about the meeting structure. Would you like to just edit a little piece for meeting presentation?
Oh, is that the thing at the top that says that, for example, Falco will present? Oh, in the template, right?
Ah, planned presentations. Yeah, I guess this makes sense. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
So we have
All
now
right.
a better template for presentations, issue template in the repo. And it gives some steps to people who want to present a new demo or anything like that. If you can share that with anyone who says they are working on a project that is relevant to the tag, and they can essentially have some guidance on how to come and do a demo in one of the upcoming regular meetings. And it's all it's all tracked in the issues with the presentation label.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
Okay, since we have still a little bit time left, maybe it's worth it to go briefly through the pull requests. So there's a new one from Marlo. Haven't seen this one. Update README for ease of read. Okay, I think this is a small one. This one is about the CNCF Cloud Native Sustainability Week. This adds a page to the website, which gives information at some point. Right now, it's not 100% clear, but about all the meetups which will take place. We will meet tomorrow. We always meet like every 2 weeks to discuss this event. So if you're interested in helping out on the organizational side, feel free to join tomorrow. There is Wait 1 second. So we have a project board. Where is it? And I added earlier today like a view for all the Cloud Native Sustainability Week items. So this is a good overview. If you like to support, feel free to just check this overview and comment on those issues. And also just keep in mind, you can always review any of those pull requests, even if they, I don't know, for example, I don't know, the contributor path. If you feel like, okay, I'm a new contributor, I don't know what is going on in this tag, or I'm not that often in these meetings, this does not rule you out as a reviewer. It's actually the opposite, that your reviews are kind of very appreciated because you have a very unique point of view. If you're not around in these structures all the time, you have a different point of view. So feel free to add your thoughts. Right, I think this one is stale kind of, and the last one as well. Kara is not here, but Max. I think this one, should we close it, or is there something which we would like to add? Looks like there has been a lot of traffic, but it's stale for 2 months.
I think we need to shortly go over it if you didn't close it already with other PRs.
Okay. So maybe we can do this async after this call.
Yeah, we'll do later.
Okay, sounds good. Right.
I was gonna post this in this channel, but could we have, for example, as just a regular user, I don't have the ability to add labels or add people to review my PR, like labels on issues. So I don't know, maybe we want to increase some of the permissions for contributors.
Yeah, we can ask like how other tags are doing this. I think in general it makes sense. These like small like things that you add reviewers, that you add labels and so on. I think these are not a big issue. I think we should enable all of you to add those labels.
At the moment, we use the standard and default roles. I think you would at least need to promote it to a maintainer to get this capabilities.
Maybe, yeah.
I think
I know
most
that
open source,
yeah, I know
source
that
projects leave that open. Yeah, sorry, Leo.
I know that in the Kubernetes community we use Prow, a bot where you can add like / I don't know, label and so on. So there's like a workaround, and the bot has permissions, and the bot checks if you have permissions basically. So you can go like around the GitHub way. Basically, you can define more granularly which permissions you have. And there is, I think the tool is Tempelis or something. And I believe the CNCF is working on integrating this to the CNCF org. So maybe it will take a little bit more time, but maybe eventually we can also use like /close and things like this, or like approve, and it approves the PR, for example. Is there anybody who would like to maybe look into this? Maybe ask contributor strategy or something. Or we can ask Emily. Or Amy. Amy should also know this.
Yeah, I think we
Otherwise
need to take this with us,
Yeah.
Leo. I think this is the
Okay.
administrator's task.
That's fine. We can follow it
Oh.
up.
I also think we had already a discussion on this topic in the past.
Maybe, probably.
Would it be okay to create a GitHub issue and tag Emily in
Yeah.
it, for example?
Yeah, maybe not
I
Emily.
could even do that, I
maybe
think.
Amy.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's my tab? Okay, I think that's it. Are there any more open discussion items? Anything you would like to talk about? We have still 10 minutes, but if there's nothing, we can also end a little bit sooner. Otherwise, tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for and Christina and everybody else who reviewed this proposal. I think it's in very good shape already. I'm very excited about this. And right, tomorrow we will have the meeting about the Environment Sustainability Week. So if you're interested, it's in the same time slot as this meeting today. So feel free to join. Other than that, thanks everyone for joining, and see you all on Slack or tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.